Hello and welcome to the Creatively Challenged podcast, where we talk entertainment news and random topics we bring into this Google Hangouts conversation. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Nolan, and I'm here with my friend Mike Stuglis. Mike, what's up?
You know, Ryan, I'm not doing too well. I'll tell you why I'm not doing too well. Because I didn't see the movie you guys saw, and I gotta wait.
Yeah.
Although, I really don't know how it is, because you guys haven't said, but I wanted to see it.
We're getting a live review reaction from Mike here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you were at the...
You do know there's a very rigorous lesbian scene that
was in the trailer.
that both Ryan and I... Oh, but they didn't show all of it in the trailer.
No.
Of course not.
But
I have to get that across.
It was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Didn't we just say before, we're not going to talk about it on the podcast?
Well, we said we were going to, lightly talk about it, but it's hard not to. It's very... It's a great scene.
It's our main topic this week.
It's a great scene. Yeah.
This week...
We're going to talk about lesbian scenes and anything.
Atomic lesbian scenes.
Atomic lesbian scenes.
Well, that's...
Hey, that's Dan.
Dan's,
Every week.
Dan Stewart.
Every week.
He's got the lesbian coverage here on the show. Dan, how you doing today?
Don't shoot, I've got your shoe.
Oh, is that what James McAvoy says?
Yeah, and he's got a lot better lines than that one, but I just couldn't think of anything.
His coat seems kind of badass. He seems like a
kind of
fancy guy.
badass.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
He's James McAvoy.
We'll get into that later, though. Ryan, you can take us into the news this week. How about that?
I'd love that.
Right.
So, everyone, most people know by now that Justice League is going through reshoots right now, and the problem with that is that Henry Cavill is in Mission Impossible 6, and they're working on filming that right now, and he grew out a mustache for it, and he can't shave it due to a contract, and so in these Justice League reshoots, they have to CGI out his mustache, and it's been a huge controversy because he can't fuck over one company, but he also has to honor the reshoots, and it's becoming a whole thing. The internet has been taken over by this mustache story. What do you guys think of it?
I think if you're going to honor one contract, I think you listen to the people that are allowing you to be Superman, in all honesty.
Yeah.
You've been granted a role that's, so fucking iconic in America. You shave the goddamn mustache if they tell you to.
If anything, they should CGI.
He's sticking to it. He's trying to make everybody happy, by not shaving it. And, they've got to CGI it out now. But if it looks stupid, it's going to be noticeable. And, we ourselves, as well as our listeners and all the other mustached fans, are going to notice if it looks just stupid in Justice League. So, I don't know. It's just kind of... I think he should shave the mustache. Or Clark Kent just has a mustache now.
I really don't think it's much of a story because with how far CGI's come, they're going to have no issue with CGIing out the mustache. Watch the Planet of the Apes movies. I mean, I don't think with the budget they have that it's going to be anything. Although, I wanted to see, and I was hoping, and I don't think we're going to get it, I wanted to see a bearded Superman. But it doesn't sound like
we're going to get a bearded Captain America in
that's what I wanted.
Avengers.
You put beards on handsome men, and they just look more handsome.
Dude, like in Logan.
Yeah.
When Hugh Jackman had a beard.
Yeah.
That was impressive. But, I don't know, I guess, yeah, I was thinking about it. I mean, but is that hard to do? Do they just, lay, the fucking, motion capture tape over it or whatever? Because, they've done, I mean,
they're gonna,
small
put
stuff
tape
is, yeah.
over it and then just, they're CGIing it. I thought that, you know what, first came to mind for me would be, they'd put something over it and then just makeup it. But, I guess they're CGIing. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they CGI'd Ray Fiennes' nose off to be Voldemort, and that looks fine. They CGI'd Timothy Spall's finger off to be Wormtail.
They can
in
do
Harry
it.
Potter.
I don't think
feel like
it's
a very small thing, but
I don't think it's any...
over a mustache. There's a contract dispute right now over a mustache. That's fucking nuts, man.
If anything, you can just shave it. I know you can't break the contract for Mission Impossible, but they can make makeup and hair. They do that anyway. It can look fine.
Yeah, one of the guys in Atomic Blonde today, he had a fake mustache on.
Ryan, what do you think?
Well, when I first heard the story, I just thought it was a little crazy that like they've got a contract on his mustache, but I didn't even realize how easy it's going to be for them to take it out until you pointed that out, Mike. Like they've, as Dan was giving many examples, like they took all the tattoos off of Tom Hardy for like a lot of movies, and like it's a mustache. Like who gives a shit? But I was gonna say, like, I mean, it's Superman, and he should probably just shave it off. And if anything, Mission Impossible could just CGI on the mustache for him.
Or
hair
just
and
practically
makeup. That's it.
Practically put the mustache.
Yeah,
on.
that's even better. Like
so many movies.
Yeah. So I think the internet has had an enormous reaction for kind of a really low, like, important story. It's not really a huge deal, but everyone keeps talking about it, and it's a strange thing. That's all I got.
It's a stranger thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
he said that.
Dan,
Completely
what's
unrelated.
Next? What's
Okay,
next?
all right. Well, we're getting near the end of Shark Week, and to kick off Shark Week last week, fucking Discovery Channel put on this hour-long fucking special about Michael Phelps racing a shark, and nobody watched because Game of Thrones was on at the same time. Let me just say that first. All right, but they were trying to do this whole thing like Michael Phelps was selling, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So they tried to get Michael Phelps to race a shark. Well, they didn't try to do it. They did it. Michael Phelps raced a shark, okay? So I'm thinking like they actually put him like in a tank next to a shark or something like that. They just measured speed and aerodynamics and shit on a shark and CGI'd the shark.
Fucking gay. So gay.
To not be problematic. It was not gay. It was
Gay.
It was dumb. But he lost. Like, whether it's a real shark or a CGI shark, like, you're not gonna win. Like, Michael Phelps can't beat a shark. We're human beings. Those things can swim at fucking 50 miles an hour. They're nuts.
How they measured the shark was they put meat at the end of the boat and the shark chased after it. So like a shark isn't even cognitive enough to know it's in a race, because if it wanted to and it's like, no. Okay, so let's try to be like imagine the scenario. The shark knows it's in a race, and they put it next to Michael Phelps, and instead of eating him, it's like, all right, I'm going to race to the end of the pool. It wouldn't even be a competition to begin with. So their whole way they measured it doesn't even make sense.
Shark Tales.
It's not that. The whole way they measured it, though, doesn't even make sense because it's not even a real race. And he still lost.
What if it was Jack Black Shark who wants to be a dolphin?
No.
Oh.
If it's Jaws,
Oh.
that's it. Ryan, I know you have a lot of words on this stupid thing that Shark Week is becoming and has been for a while.
You know, they only show a bunch of... Sorry, Ryan. They only show a bunch of, like, rerun stuff. There's a very small percentage in, like, new stuff that they do.
They make up half of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like, not even factually accurate
Like
anymore.
alien sharks.
They were saying they're like, we found maybe a megalodon. I'm like, no, you fucking didn't.
So, but that's the thing. You watch the hour-long special, and then at minute 57 of it, they tell you, like, no, we didn't fucking find it. I could have told you that in minute 1.
Instead of watching Game of Thrones, you wasted your time with Shark Week. Yeah. Ryan, let's get your opinion on this.
Shark Week is becoming a waste of time in and of itself. I think, like, over the past decade, like, it's really tonally shift about what the general message is about Shark Week. When it first started, there's a lot more educational programming about, like, how sharks work and how they're not really as big of a threat as we perceive they are. Like, ever since Jaws came out, people have feared sharks more. Like, they're always painted as something that's always out to get you. And originally Shark Week had a lot of programming on there that was teaching you that that's not what it's all about, and that they're very important for the ocean ecosystem. And now, over the years, because Discovery's kind of shifted its kind of theme and goal from education now into just like reality shows, much like a lot of TV now, they have all these kind of clickbaity shows, even though it's just TV. But they'll have that Megalodon show where for a fucking hour, they'll have experts like dick around with a piece of sonar and say, oh, we got a piece of thing. We got something on the radar. Just stay tuned. And then at the end, like Dan says, they'll just, oh, no, they don't exist. And then, yeah, like it's a waste of time.
I still can't believe that they have like a Finding Bigfoot show.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find him.
Unbelievable.
You're not gonna find him. He's not out there.
And then they have all these other programs with like more reasons to feel threatened by sharks, and it's not the right idea. You're only reinforcing the problem here. And so at least Michael Phelps wasn't like fighting the shark. They weren't painting the shark in a bad light with this one. But Jesus, that's like really racing for views right there.
I wish it ate him for wasting people's fucking time, because he didn't even. I don't wish it ate him, but like,
He's the greatest Olympian ever.
But like, come on, are you? You're not even gonna race the shark. It's just like, or even attempt it. They're just gonna CGI him in there, and they're like, all right, Mike, we're going to record you. We're going to take your Olympic footage, even though they didn't do that. And we're just going to watch you race across a pool. Well, and people are like, oh, he might do it. People are stupid enough to realize that, like, oh, he's in there with a shark.
Do you think he thought he could win?
I don't know. He probably got a hefty payday, though.
Oh, yeah. No, that guy's laughing his way to the bank with his bong and Subway footlong. You know?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And his fucking 50 pounds of McDonald's chicken nuggets. But, like, do you know, Discovery used to have Man vs. Wild on it. I used to turn into Discovery every Wednesday night to watch Man vs. Wild. And like cancel it.
What about it?
It's a great show.
Well, that was bullshit too. He got busted for like they were just faking it.
He would like go to a hotel.
Yeah.
At night. Yeah. I like Man vs. Food. Yeah, that's a good show.
They're bringing that back with some fat redheaded guy.
Yeah, I know. It's not Adam Richman.
I like Adam Richman. He's a great showman, but let's see what this guy's got.
Well, Adam Richman has just, for a while, he got thin, but for a while he just had clogged arteries because he got so big.
Yeah.
We're not body shaming. Okay, we're not body shaming.
No,
here.
We're not. I'm a fat guy. I'm not ashamed to say so. But now he's like I follow him on Twitter. He's a big soccer guy or something.
Anyway, this Shark Week thing was dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that they're going to waste people's time and just be like, he's racing a shark, and then it's totally fake. It's like it's reinforcing what they keep doing. It's like you said, Ryan, clickbaity. It's just like, stay tuned till the end, and we lie to you.
All right. So kind of big news out of the Star Wars realm this week. The actor who was in the Darth Vader suit in Rogue One, a Star Wars story last year, just got cast for the Han Solo project. Now, that's big news because is Darth Vader going to be in Han Solo? We don't know. They might fit him in there. I mean, everybody loves Darth Vader. And Ron Howard's trying to look for a way to, sell this fucking movie because as of right now, like, this movie's been a fucking dumpster fire, this whole project. So to put Darth Vader in this movie, if it makes sense, I'm all for it. But maybe this guy just plays fucking Stormtrooper too. Like we don't know. I mean, like I don't even know this guy's name. Like the news story that read was guy who was in Vader's suit got cast in
yeah, maybe they just like his physical size. Maybe he's playing another bounty hunter or something like that. Ooh. Like a physically imposing
Cad Bane, but he's a skinny guy.
Yeah, I thought Boba at first, but Boba's short.
Yeah.
Although I feel like this movie would sell by itself without Darth Vader. I would hope that they're not putting him in there because I'm completely fine with how Rogue One ended if that's Vader's last scene ever. It was awesome.
I'd be fine with it. That scene is still like, I think like that is my favorite like 30 seconds of Star Wars. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot better like in terms of like film, like there are a lot better like 30 seconds in Star Wars, but like in terms of lightsaber fucking Darth being a badass like scenes, like that one is just the best one. And if you just get more of that, like, I don't even need to see a lightsaber scene. If this guy is Vader again, just some interrogation, just some fucking force chokes, that'd be cool. But
well, I don't see how he would fit in a movie about Han Solo, considering they don't even meet until, is it episode 5?
Yeah.
Right? And so it's kind of just like, it feels like it'd be thrown in there. I don't really see a spot.
I don't know. I mean,
it.
They don't necessarily have to be on the screen together. Like, maybe Vader hires bounty hunters and Solo ends up being a problem. Like, they don't
Doesn't
have
that sound like episode 5?
a bit. But if they just redid, like, Empire Strikes Back, you're redoing, like, the fucking best Star Wars movie. So it's not a bad formula. Ron Howard's trying to pull this thing from the fucking dead right now. So
my guess is he's just playing a big character that maybe he doesn't, like, kind of just, like you said, he could be Stormtrooper too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's maybe he just worked really well on set and they liked him. And once you get in the Disney family, you're kind of in.
Maybe he's just a really nice guy.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Ryan, what do you think?
I hope it's not Vader. I don't think he should be in the movie, but it's more than likely that he could just be like a guy in a suit because they need a tall guy. But having Vader in the movie, not something I'd want at all. I think he's got to stay out, especially since Han Solo does not meet Vader until The Empire Strikes Back. So, let's keep it in continuity here. But that's all I got.
And let's also keep a level. I feel like we kept a level head. None of us came in and were like, Vader's going to be in the movie.
Yeah, thank God.
People who were probably thinking that.
Yeah, like, this is neither confirmed nor denied. We don't know what's going to happen. I just want this movie to not be a fucking dumpster fire, because as of right now, production-wise, it's in a dumpster fire.
Well, you know what always helps a movie? Fan service. If you have a segment where, like, Boba Fett's on the battlefield killing ass like Vader does, it would make the movie it would automatically take the movie from, like, a C- to a C+ just because of that, like, one scene, because it's fan service.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, you almost have to have Boba Fett in this movie, you know?
Right.
So they've got to, God, they got to fucking do this movie right. I'm so upset with how fucking shitty this whole production thing has been.
Yeah, but it sounds like they caught it early enough, maybe. Let's hope. But,
yeah.
Let's just...
A New Hope.
A New Hope. Good movie.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Ryan?
Our next story.
Enough on guy in suit.
A guy in suit. Our next story... the director of the Avengers, Joss Whedon, will now be a more major part of the DC creative team moving forward. As we know, Joss Whedon has taken control of the Justice League movie now that Zack Snyder stepped down due to family problems. And Zack Snyder is now going to have a smaller role in DC. I couldn't have asked for a better thing, aside from the suicide that's very bad. But I'm not saying. Well, hey, I'm
tread lightly.
I know. I really.
We were walking on thin ice.
I didn't say the suicide was good. I'm saying I'm happy that he's off of it because I don't like his movies, and I think he was bad for DC. And seeing Joss Whedon in this, more into, he's getting more into DC. I think is probably the best thing that they need right now. I still think DC's kind of ruined. It's got a really shaky foundation, but time will tell, and I'm happy Joss Whedon's in this. What about you guys?
I'd like to see Snyder obviously like take the smaller role, but I wouldn't mind seeing him stick on as a producer to advise, and because his visual effects are great.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone can deny that. Like, if you watch his you can watch a standalone scene from his movies, and they can all be considered good, but his movies just don't gel well. You've said that before,
yeah.
Ryan. So I would like to see him stick around, kind of to keep the same. I don't know if tone's the right word, but look almost like a cinematic scope.
Yeah.
I think it would be good to go to him for that sake, but maybe not a storytelling role, which Joss Whedon has proved from things like Avengers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer that he's very good at. Toy Story.
Yeah.
He wrote Toy Story 3, right?
And the first.
So I honestly just think this is great news. I'm really all for it, and it seems like Joss Whedon's a really good guy to work with if he's gotten along with both Marvel and DC.
Well, you got a guy here who we kind of brought up the Zack Snyder thing a couple weeks ago, and said how Joss Whedon was going to come on and direct the reshoots and kind of direct the end of the actual project. This is awesome that he's having more creative control, because as we've said before, like, this guy knows how to get a superhero movie to work in terms of a team-up movie. I mean, the first Avengers was awesome. You know, I mean, that was like how superhero team up movies are supposed to go. And the DC universe is in fucking need of a guy like him. So now that they're moving forward, like, we might have to kind of, make sure that, or we might have to kind of get through Justice League knowing that, like, that's not officially, like, 100% his project. But going forward in terms of the solo films, if he just has any creative say in Batman or Flash or Aquaman now, like, going forward, and then Justice League Part 2, like, if he can have any creative say in those, like, we're in better shape than we were before. So I'm excited that he's way more involved now. And Zack Snyder, like you said, I mean, he's talented in terms of creating a visually stunning film, and Batman v Superman had great visuals and everything like that. And each individual scene is a good scene, but when all put together in a 2.5 hour movie, it just, something wasn't right. So it's kind of good to see him kind of take a back seat almost on this.
Don't you almost see it as, too, they keep talking about the reshoots, and Josh Whedon's obviously finishing off as the director of this movie, and, he's obviously heading the reshoots. Do you think they're doing major reshoots because it's like, oh, we really like what Joss has been doing. Maybe this movie's not great, but he can set us up in a direction maybe we're going to go in the future. Maybe he saw some key points that he's like, hey, we can highlight on this later, and we'll just touch upon it in this movie. And maybe that's why they're just adding some of these reshoots in there.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he adds on just like 15 minutes of film that changed the whole fucking movie. We don't know. I mean, we don't know how heavily involved he is. I mean, obviously he's directing the reshoot, so it's pretty heavy involvement. But, like, in terms of how that alters the movie, we won't really know until November. And, there's almost a hard way of telling which part of the movie is his and which part of the movie is Zach's. Or maybe it's not. Maybe, like, the first hour and 20 minutes of it is dog shit, and the last, like, 40 minutes of it isn't. And it's, like, a great superhero team-up film. We really don't know. So, like we keep saying with everything, we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So, still exciting, though. Joss Whedon. Great mind. Great guy.
Yeah. Any more thoughts on that, Ryan?
No.
All right. HBO has taken on yet another project. They will be developing a mini-series about the Chernobyl disaster, and it will star Jared Harris as the lead scientist investigating the disaster. And the series will be directed by Johan Renck, who has directed episodes from Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, and he shot the pilot of the Netflix show Bloodline. So, do you guys does a project like this interest you guys at all? Being an HBO, they're always knocking it out of the park. Does this interest you guys at all?
Well, it obviously it seems like it's in good hands. I think the Chernobyl disaster is an interesting topic, but I'm not like I'm not totally moved to immediately see this the day it comes out or anything. I think it's got good people on it, but nothing about it is completely amazing, at least to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to see a guy named Johan make it. I mean,
maybe he's Russian or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this guy had a rough childhood. But considering his resume, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, both on a great network, AMC. And then Bloodline, this guy's got pretty good resume with shows and being able to direct it. Jared Harris is the son of the first Albus Dumbledore, which is pretty cool. So, Chernobyl's pretty funny.
Funny?
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
Oh my God.
And in a nuclear hellfire that sunk the earth and fucking fucked everybody up, and anybody in the range or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting idea. There was that movie that came out a couple years ago, like about Chernobyl, where it was a horror movie.
And that's what I was gonna say. Is like we've seen so many. Like, have we really seen a true depiction of like Chernobyl in a film? I know I mean like a show or film, because I know we see a lot of documentaries and then we see interesting takes on it like that. But I think it'd be really cool to touch upon something that actually happened. That's what really interests me. Like, I'd actually like to see the events told.
Like, I don't. This will probably give it a very dialogue heavy, like consequential side of the story, like how it affected people, rather than like what the actual event was. I'm sure they're not going to get through the whole show without showing a flashback of what the fuck happened, but it's interesting to always kind of take when TV or movie does, and they take like an event that actually happened and write the story around it. I always find that interesting, and HBO wouldn't have picked it up if it was crap. So, they make good shows. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I was excited because the reason I put it on here is because it said, obviously the Chernobyl disaster is interesting, but it's not gonna just explore like it's gonna explore like what led up to it, in terms of like, apparently there was some pretty carelessness that went into it of why it ended up occurring, and there was some negligence. So I think that's going to be explored, like the event itself and the fallout. So I think it has potential to be a really interesting show. And I love Jared Harris. You haven't really seen him in a lot of leading roles. Like, he was in Mad Men, which he was great. I think he was nominated for an Emmy for that. And I liked him as James Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes. So I'm interested to see him as the lead as well.
We have breaking news at this moment in time. It's a Harry Potter weekend this weekend.
God damn it.
Breaking news.
Yeah. I was just informed that it's Harry Potter's birthday weekend. Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling, his birthday is on July 31st, and that's this weekend. So Freeform, check out that Harry Potter weekend. Though they never
Didn't they just have one?
Yeah, like a month ago.
Like it was a month. I felt like it felt like 2 weeks.
It was because Harry Potter, at the end of June, Harry Potter was first published 20 years ago, like at the end of June. I don't know. I can't get enough of this shit. I don't care. I mean, care.
I mean, it's breaking.
I
guess it's breaking news.
But by the time this episode comes out on Monday, like the Harry Potter weekend will be like over, and you guys can catch the Deathly Hallows movies Part 1 and 2 on Monday night. They usually do that.
Ryan, what were you gonna add?
Ever since Netflix Instant has become so popular, and I got that, and I got Amazon Video, I can no longer watch movies on TV. Like, it's actually impossible. Like a 2 hour and 30-minute movie is now more than 3 hours on TV. Everything is cut at the wrong time just so they can get to commercials, and it's aggravating for me. And I lose interest in a movie.
I get what you're getting at.
Totally. But it's like, it's almost weird watching the Harry Potter movies on Blu-ray, and of course I have them on Blu-ray. But like, when I watch them on Blu-ray, like I almost get like prepared for commercials, because like it kind of turns into like, whenever I feel like I need to watch Harry Potter, like there's a Harry Potter weekend, and I sit there and watch it because I love it. But like, the commercials almost becomes like part of it,
I'm sorry you live in that reality.
Hey, well, Harry Potter's never going to show up on Netflix, but I have all the Blu-rays. I can watch them whenever the fuck I want. Great movies.
Ryan, I'll tell you what I've started doing is I only turn on movies generally on HBO and like Stars, because you don't get the commercials. But the ones I'm willing to watch with commercials, Freeform with Harry Potter, AMC, and because they're always showing great movies. And IFC, because they have the swears in there, so I can withstand it. Those are the two. Sometimes FX as well, but yeah, very few networks will I be like, I'm not sticking around. Like Lord of the Rings on TNT.
That can go fuck itself.
I barely ever tune into those.
That's well, The Departed was on AMC yesterday, and I watched it, and
Goodfellas was on too, I think.
And just without the swearing and the commercials, just like I didn't watch the whole thing. Like I wanted to watch the whole thing, but like I didn't because I like fucking Mark Wahlberg's dub in it was so bad. Like,
I hate that shit.
Dude, the dub on it was so bad. Like, I couldn't tolerate it. I left.
Tombstone was on AMC the other day, which is always on there, and I tuned in. The scene, I just watched the scene, though, and he's like, you tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me here. And then Ryan's going to the bathroom,
that's exactly
I
what I'm
think,
doing.
or something. But we'll get in. Do we want to fuck off until he comes back?
Yeah, let's fuck off. Okay,
so Tombstone was on. You know, Tombstone's awesome. And I've seen Tombstone a million times on AMC. But that one you can watch on AMC. One, because it's not overly long. You know, it's like a little over 2 hours, right? So it turns into like a 3-hour experience. And there's not a ton of swears, and the violence is pretty well maintained. So that's one of the ones you can watch.
One I'm kind of pissed off about, usually AMC, TNT, somebody does, fucking Lifetime. I haven't seen The Shawshank Redemption in over a year.
The last time I saw it was when we were like at home. And I think it was on IFC. I mean, not at home, like in Columbia, Missouri. I think it was on IFC. I don't even think it was on IFC.
I haven't watched it in over a year, and that, to the listeners who don't know, is my favorite movie of all time. But so I realized this yesterday, and so I went on to Amazon and bought Shawshank on Blu-ray because I actually don't own my favorite movie of all time until tomorrow when it gets here with 2-day Amazon Prime shipping. I don't know.
Maybe in the week layover when you and Ryan are just at home, you'll watch it. Or I keep saying at home, like in Columbia.
Well, it is second home.
Yeah. All right. We're done with talking about television.
Yeah, Ryan's back.
Hello.
Onto our last news topic. Is this the final trailer or like trailer 3?
It
I
is
don't
the
know if it's the
official
final.
trailer. Before we got the
2.
teaser, and now this is the first official.
Okay. Trailer for It, Stephen King's adapted novel, whatever you want to call it, the one with the creepy clown Pennywise.
Bone-chilling novel.
Bone-chilling. They always got these different fucking things they call it. I personally thought the trailer was just as good as the first one. They're adding really cool sound effects into the trailer.
That fucking sound that goes.
Yeah,
That's
it
fucked
concluded
up.
it,
Yeah.
and it was the main one, and they added more in this trailer. So it's really atmospherical, and I hope this movie has a good score because behind every great horror movie is a good score. The Shining's a perfect example. What's funny?
Horror.
Horror, really? Yeah. You're a 2-year-old.
I was just remembering a mistake we made on one of our earlier shows, where I was talking about a horror movie. I said horror
and we just laughed for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was
okay.
great.
So, also what I like about it, not only looks scary, but I think it kind of looks like it's taking a cool look at the high school drama too. It kind of looks like they're going to focus on these kids who are outcasts. And, that's a big part of the story.
School.
Yeah, I don't want them to shy away from that, though.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the story, and it'll make you care about the kids. So, yeah, I thought the trailer was just as scary as the first one. Ryan, your thoughts on the official trailer for it?
Well, it definitely confirmed my suspicions that this movie plays out very much like an 80s movie or Stranger Things, where all the kids come across this supernatural thing and without any adults have to confront it somehow. And it seems cool that being someone that hates horror movies and refuses to watch them, I'm definitely going to have to see it for this show. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. It seems cool, except the scary parts. But, I've never seen the original It, and this looks cool. It looks like a very good modern update for it.
What I want to address is what we actually wrote down in the Google Doc.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to steal it from you because you wrote it down.
For what was the main point of this trailer. So, Pennywise the Clown, which was so perfectly portrayed by Tim Curry in that 1990 version of It, had such an iconic voice for it. And I know you kind of don't want to, just play the same character again in a modern movie. That's fine, but whoever the hell is being Pennywise, like Heath Ledger pulled the greatest Joker performance ever out of his ass because he just didn't want to be Jack Nicholson. He went to Jack Nicholson for advice, like to how to not be Jack Nicholson. So this guy just probably, out of respect to Tim Curry's performance, wanted to take a different tone. And he actually did a different tone. He sounds fucking stupid. We hear Pennywise's first lines in this first trailer, and he sounds very stupid. He sounds like this.
Yeah, very high pitched
with
voice.
like a lisp and in a high pitched voice, and I don't like it. I mean, the full movie hasn't come out yet, but like when I read it and I seeing Tim Curry's performance, like I always kind of thought like Pennywise did have like this raspy, like deep voice, so like this was just kind of off for me. I don't know. It kind of it'll probably work like. When I'm sitting in the theater, like I'm probably gonna be pissing myself, but like it was kind of offsetting. The rest of the trailer was great. I loved the storytelling. Like Stephen King always has the best dialogue. I think the Harry Potter books are my favorite books, but in terms of like dialogue, I love reading Stephen King because like he really captures like real life conversations well. And whenever his books are adapted into movies, it's great. And I like you get more taste of that in this trailer and the kids and everything like that. I like how Pennywise, as well as like bullies in high school or middle school, these kids are younger, kind of almost have the same like fear factor, like they're kind of both viewed as like bad guys in this trailer, so it's pretty cool. I really like the way that this is looking so far. I'm glad they revived it.
I'm surprised we heard him speak. I think it would have been just as scary to the Georgie's boat goes in the sewer. I think it would have been just as scary if you get a snapshot of Pennywise out of the shadows, which they showed, and then him holding it. That could have been it. I think that would have been just as creepy.
Because in the rest of the trailer, you see him, but he doesn't speak.
Yeah, so I didn't even think you needed
it. That he speaks, and it just doesn't sound right to me. Yeah. But we'll see in September 8th. It's my parents' anniversary.
Happy anniversary to them, September 8th. I will forget. No, you'll probably remind me or something. Ryan, take us into the movie you guys saw.
All right. We saw a movie this week. We saw Atomic Blonde, directed by David Leitch. It is sort of his directorial debut, as he did some work for John Wick and will, in fact, do Deadpool 2. An undercover MI6 agent is sent to Berlin during the Cold War to investigate the murder of a fellow agent and recover a missing list of double agents. It stars Charlize Theron, James McAvoy, John Goodman, Toby Jones, and Sophia Boutella. We'll jump right into the positives. I really liked the sort of colors in this movie. It looked very pretty. It was very hyper stylistic, and the action scenes in which she was fighting everyone, Charlize Theron's character, it was very reminiscent of John Wick, and obviously his credits kind of bleed through into this movie in a good way. And it was definitely more of a spy movie than just a female John Wick movie. There was a lot more focus on political elements and all the sorts of deception and espionage. I really liked it. I like that part of it, that it was more spy focused. I didn't want just a John Wick female movie. That's what I really liked about it, is what I'm saying. That we got a fully fleshed spy movie. Dan, what are your positives?
Yeah, I'd agree. I really enjoyed it as a spy film. It's really, people are calling her like the female John Wick, and I'd say so. It was really well done in terms of characters and directing and cinematography. Like, I thought the shots were really cool. Like, there were indications on the screen when certain characters would like show up. And it doesn't like ruin anything for the movie, but like whenever Sophia Boutella's character was about to show up on the screen, like there'd be something with stripes on it. Because the first time you see her in the movie, she had like a striped shirt on, and then like every time like she was about to like show up, like stripes would be on the screen somewhere, and there was other keys like that for other characters as well, and it kind of almost helped tell the story. The cinematography in it was awesome. I agree with Ryan. The colors were really well done. It was a well shot film. The characters were great. I felt something for like the characters themselves. I thought the characters really helped out the movie, and the actors themselves by able to like push the film along. It was really well done. It was very unique. David Leitch, I trust him going forward with Deadpool 2 now, because this was well done. I thought it was well directed. The characters in it, the motivation of the characters was good. So I'm excited for that. But David Leitch also did direct that little Deadpool short before
that's right.
before Logan. So that was pretty cool. And that I liked how I could tell his style just in that little like 2-minute Deadpool thing, and then John Wick. You got that feeling about it, and there were certain scenes where I was just like, wow, that I love that style of film, and that's definitely David Leitch. So I enjoyed this film. It was good. There were a lot of elements in it that made it good.
They played it out in the trailer, they'd be like, Charlize Theron and James McAvoy. Is it definitely Charlize Theron's movie and McAvoy's supporting, or is it kind of like
I would say so.
They're both the leads? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, she gets more screen time, and the movie's definitely more about her. He kind of shows up every so often and does his thing, and, I don't want to get into spoilers about it because, like, his character's, like, very... enigmatic. Like, there's a lot to him. Like, he's a very deep character. So,
Should we expect a lot of... I haven't seen it. Should we expect a lot of Goodman in this movie or no?
No.
No?
He was definitely a selling point in the movie, just to kind of put his name in there. I mean, his character's... He's part of it, but he's definitely not, like a main character,
Gotcha.
He gets screen time throughout the movie, but he doesn't really do anything special. And do you mind if we jump into the negatives here, Mike?
Go ahead.
I said in our positive section that I did like a part of this movie, but the only part I liked is that it was a spy movie and it wasn't just a female copy of John Wick. And the rest of the movie I didn't like very much. I wouldn't even go to say this was good. And John Goodman's role in this movie, or at least where he shows up in the film, is my biggest problem with it, in that the story immediately starts with them all in a like FBI interrogation room. Well, no, it's not FBI, but it's an interrogation room for a government. And it takes place after the events of the film. And so immediately the stakes are taken away because we know that she lives, and that's a huge problem. And John Goodman is peppered in throughout in that interrogation room. This isn't spoiler territory, is it?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, you're kind of just talking about his role. I wouldn't say it's a massive
and so
spoiler.
Within every time they cut back to the interrogation room, Charlize Theron basically explains everything that happens in the movie, like before they even show it, and we don't get to realize the different points of the movie with the character, and it takes all of the heat away from it. And so, like, things we should have figured out for ourselves or with the character are instead spoon-fed to us right before they show a scene. And I had such a problem with that, because if they didn't have this interrogation room part to the movie, it would be so much better.
Ryan, the interrogation parts kind of happened after they'd happened. I thought the interrogation parts were kind of to explain what we just saw, because that's when the interrogation parts come back on after like all the action and stuff.
Well, then I got that wrong, but either way, I don't think that
But I know I hear what you're saying overall,
Yeah.
but they didn't explain what happened before, they explain what happened after.
My mistake.
It's still the same effect, because then they have
Explaining.
to like baby explain to what just happened instead of like watching the movie.
So, Ryan, would you say this movie suffers more from a script than it does from its director?
Yeah,
probably.
I don't think he did anything wrong. I never at any point had a problem with the directing, but I had a problem with the script in that like we had to have things explained for us, and it wasn't really things you could always piece together by yourself. And I was wrong on that, saying that it came beforehand, excuse me. But I think it really could have done without that aspect of the movie, and it would have been a lot more rewarding for the audience, I think.
Yeah, expositional dialogue is always just a pain in the ass.
And that's all that is.
Annoying.
And it's a large portion of the movie.
And I didn't mind the interrogation scenes, but like they did just kind of like spoon feed you what just happened like beforehand. Like I understood like what happened beforehand. Like you kind of don't need to tell the story, but I mean, the movie starts off at like 100 miles per hour, and then like the buildup is like slow, like very slow. The buildup is slow. And then the end is also 100 miles per hour. Like, I kind of didn't, like, get the end or, like, even hear... Like, they tried to explain it. James McAvoy's British accent got very heavy and very, like, bad at the end. Because, like, he was explaining basically the entire story. And I could barely hear him. And so, like, the end just happened so fast that it took me... like well after the movie to kind of realize how the end went down. And the beginning was kind of the same way. Like they throw you in, it's very tense at the beginning, and then as the story is told, it's slow. It builds up. You get introduced to characters, but it's not like it's not a very good like slow. Like the way they started the movie, like the slow was kind of kind of off placed, and then the end just happened so quick that it was hard to process it all as it was going on, which I guess, in other movies it works, but it didn't really work for this movie that the end happened so fast. And then in the big climactic fight, I'd have to say that, like, there was a lot of grunting and screaming that was just kind of unnecessary. Yeah, so those are my negatives. Not too much effect on the overall movie, but like the story comes at you at different speeds, and it's, but it's not like bad pacing. It all happens when it's like supposed to happen. But I think just with the way the dialogue was delivered, as well as how much like was going on at the moment, like. It kind of was hard to understand at the end, but I mean, it's not overall hard once you think about it, but I kind of didn't like how I had to like put it together myself at the end,
Gotcha. What are you guys scoring it then?
I'm going to give it like a 3.6. Like it's still an enjoyable movie. I didn't hate it. It was good. But like it wasn't the best movie I saw this summer by a long shot. So 3.6.
A serviceable break between all the great ones.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's not shitty. So, I give it a 3.6 Goldblums. Ryan?
I would give Atomic Blonde a 2 out of 5 Goldblums. It's a serviceable movie, but its flaws cut it down so much that I just thought it was okay. Nothing special. I wouldn't say even it's good. But, it was okay. 2 out of 5.
I'll give my score after I see it because I'll see it before we upload the score on Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll just throw it in there with you guys and could average out then. But
as of right now, it's at about a 3. So, enjoyable film, could be better, but could be worse as well. So, decent film. I said it looked decent going in, and that's just kind of what it was. It was decent. So,
was Hugo Stiglitz cool in it? Or was he, like, barely
Not a big role. It was just kind of fun. I was like, who is that? I'm like, that's Hugo Stiglitz. Yeah, so that was, that's fun.
Alrighty then.
All right.
Stu, you came up with this topic.
Yeah, so that was our review of Atomic Blonde. Check it out for yourself if you like to score it itself, but Creatively Challenged Podcast does give that a round about 3 out of 5 Goldblums. Could have used more Goldblum. That would have been funny. But all right, but getting into our discussion topic for this week, back in our 3rd episode of the Creatively Challenged Podcast, we talked about morning routines, kind of how, your morning routine affects your day. What's your morning routine? How do you eat breakfast? All that noise. And we all gave our thoughts on that. I kind of wanted to get back to that a little bit this week. But this time, what in your guys' daily routine do you fucking hate doing? Like, what is something that you have to do every day that you wish you didn't have to do, that it could have, like, just be done by itself to where you didn't have to do it?
Working out. Especially since I've incorporated it, because the way I have to work out is, one, I have to force myself to do it because I'm such a lazy sack of shit. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. That I don't disenjoy I like the act of sweating and getting healthier, and I like the feeling after you work out. But most of my workout is on the fucking treadmill for an extended period of time. I go on there for about 60 minutes, and then I do a lift afterwards. And I go at a decent pace. I do about 4 miles.
Just to pause you, I like doing cardio before I lift too.
Yeah, I can't lift and then do cardio.
People kind of always do cardio at the end. I like it the other way around.
Yeah.
It's a good switch up. I like it.
And because you already have your sweat going, and I don't sweat a lot when I lift because I don't love weights, so I do the weights after. But that time when I'm on the treadmill and I'm going at about, I don't know, between like 4.5 and 5 for like an hour, it just gets old. I'm at the point now where I've been doing it so long that I have calluses and blisters on my heels because, treadmills just aren't the best thing for your feet. So while I'm doing it, I don't like it, but it's something I have to do, one, because I don't eat great, and two, I just really... I've gotten into the mold of I like how I feel if I work out. It's kind of like a positive momentum that I get.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah. So working out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about like changing up by maybe running outside, or do you hate that?
I can, but the only problem is I get too distracted. And I find excuses really easily to stop doing things. So if I put myself in a room and I give myself a time, I'm a very time limit oriented person, and I like setting little goals. Like when I'm on the treadmill, I know I'm not going to stop at this point. But if I'm like near a mile, I like to pick up the pace so I get to that mile quicker. It's like little stuff like that. So when I'm outside, there's really no way to judge that. And if I just like put a timer on my phone and I start running, I'm just going to be constantly looking at the timer. And it gets kind of, but that's my own problem, and it is probably best to switch it up. But all that matters to me is if I do the work, but it's just while I'm doing it, it's just like, I'd rather be sitting on the couch eating chips, but I know I shouldn't. So yeah, that's the thing in the day that just like, I can't say I hate it, but I really am not a fan. And getting yourself to that position is always the hardest part too.
Rye, what about you?
I would say the thing I hate the most is usually what wakes me up, and what wakes me up every morning, sometimes even before my alarm, is that I have to pee. I would have that over anything in life. If I could get rid of like having to pee and it wakes you up, it's the worst shit ever because it adds an urgency, especially when you're so comfortable in your bed. I would love to just have that gone from my life because, god damn it, it's the worst if you wake up early and you just have to take a hard piss, man. I don't know.
I kind of hate when you like wake up to piss like an hour before your alarm goes off, and then like you can't go back to sleep like once you get back in your bed.
Ugh,
like it's the absolute worst. Like that's shitty.
But you can't go to bed thirsty though. This is just how life is.
No. Yeah. It's just a fucking roundabout of hell, isn't it?
Yeah. So
this fucking life we live.
Yeah. So mine is simple, but like it's probably the one I hate the most. I'm a morning person, so I don't really mind most of the morning. But that's probably the hardest part.
Oh, if I can't get my morning dump in, my day is ruined.
Yep, I'd agree with that. No, I had to run to the store yesterday and buy apple juice. Clear out the system. Apple juice is
helps.
Apple juice is one of the best like liquid like fibers or whatever.
I
like,
love fiber bars.
It really clears out the system.
Fiber bars is what I've turned on to because those are pretty trustworthy as well. The only problem is if you have a fiber bar and drink coffee, which I always do, it hits you like a brick wall, and you're just out of commission.
I can't even get a morning dump if I don't have coffee now. Like, my body's just expecting it.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of the first things I do. Jump out of bed, grab my towel to go to the bathroom to go shower, and it's like, harshly blows. But the things I hate most, it's part of the daily routine, but you have to do them. I do it twice a day, but I hate doing it. Like, I hate the fact that, like, you have to do it. Brushing your teeth. Like, I'm a very clean guy. I love when my teeth are fresh, and I do brush twice a day. But I just wish, like, teeth were just clean all the time. Like, I wish I didn't have to go poke this fucking stick in my mouth with fucking shit on it that makes me gag and stuff like that, just so that my teeth were clean. Like,
are you an aggressive teeth brusher?
No, I do little circles. I guess, like, just my throat is sensitive of what gets near it.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So, like, I just, I don't like brushing my teeth, but I do it, because your teeth have to be clean. No, I just wish that your teeth were just clean. That'd just make life
Just get them
better.
removed, Who needs them?
Yeah, fuck them. What do you need them for,
We have blenders. Like, it's fine. You're good.
And the other thing, guys, I really don't like laundry day. I really don't like laundry day. I don't mind putting my stuff in the machine. I don't mind having clean clothes. But I feel like you can't sit down on the couch and enjoy your television show because you're just waiting for that fucking machine to go off so you get up and have to go do it again. And then, you move your shit to the dryer, and then you got to wait for that. You got to clean off the fucking lint tray. And then you sit on the couch again, and you can't really get too comfortable because you're going to have to get up and go do it again. But that's not the worst part. You put your stuff in the bucket. The worst part about laundry is folding it and putting it in your drawers. Mm-hmm. That is my least favorite part because
it wrinkles if you don't. You have to do it.
You have to do it. And that's your fucking hamper all of a sudden, or the bucket you use to get your stuff out of the dryer, all of a sudden becomes the never-ending bucket of clothes. And you're just like, did I even wear all this shit this week or whatever? And you did. You did. But, like, folding laundry is always the longest and most strenuous fucking part of doing laundry, and I hate it. Like, I just hate. I wish that, like, like the dryer folded and fucking neatly. Like, I wouldn't even mind, like, taking straight from the dryer and throwing it in the closet, like, that'd be great. But you have to, like, you take it to your room, and you have to use your bed, and you fold it all out, and you fucking do it, and it just and then you make a little stack of shirts.
Like, I wish I had a wand from Harry Potter, and I could just, like, fucking...
Mrs. Weasley, dude, she never fucking... It's ridiculous. And, dude, and then you make a little stack of T-shirts, and then it falls over when you start putting the fucking socks next to them for some reason.
You know what I've stopped doing? You know how a lot of people kind of with their socks ball them and, like, so they're grouped together in twos? You ever seen that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like,
what I do throw individual socks in the drawer.
Oh, that irritates me, Mike.
because
the socks have to be together.
Two up. See, that's your OCD kicking.
The socks have to be together because that's the thing. Because, like, I mean, I only wear, like, Nike half calves, black half calves, unless I'm wearing, like, no-show socks with, like, my boat shoes, or no-show socks with my running shoes. Other than that, in cowboy boots and fucking Converse, I'm wearing Nike half calves. And you can tell which pairs are the older pairs because they're a little bit more like blue than black. And you got to make sure those navy ones, the ones that are kind of faded already and are older, you got to make sure those ones stay together, because if you're wearing one of the older ones with one of the brand new fucking black ones that are nice and they're barely fucking stinky yet because you just, you put them on and they're so fresh they just swooped on, like, your left foot's going to be a little bit more uncomfortable than your right foot because, like, you're wearing an older, like, already washed and kind of, like, shrunk sock. So they got to go together, and you got to pay attention to it. But
when you don't
finding,
care about
but
them, you
finding
don't have to worry
those
about
socks, finding those socks, like in the never-ending hamper, is all the hell in laundry day for me. I hate that. I hate that I have to put these socks together.
Ryan, do you have this problem?
No, I love laundry actually. Because it's like reminding you that you have to be productive, and if you just give up on it, then the rest of your life is in shambles. So like I quite enjoy laundry day. I'm not even stressed when I've got in the laundry thing. I just put on a timer and forget about it and work on other shit.
The one in the apartment sucks. That's why I hate it, because you gotta put it through the dryer like twice.
Well, yeah. Well, I hate it because also it usually falls on Sunday. I mean, that's the time when you have to do it. But and then like on Sunday, like you're hungover or you've got homework to do. So the last thing I want to do is fucking do laundry. So that factors into it as well. Fuck. Now I'm just like stressed, man. I hate it. I'm just sitting here fucking cooking in my boots.
All right. We'll get you off it.
All right.
To close out the episode, we have our final topic. And, with movies like Atomic Blonde coming out, and we got the John Wick movies, and we got the Kingsman movies, do you guys think the undercover spy / assassin movie market is becoming oversaturated, or do you think there's like new life being brought into it? Personally, there's always going to be the basic ones. They made like Taken fucking 10, and
there are only 3 of those.
I know, but like those are gonna get old. But what I think is saving these movies is universe building. That's the one thing I always point to. That's what John Wick's done. That's what Kingsman's done. That's what the Bourne movies have done.
Yep.
After the first movie, which is successful, if it's well shot, you got a likable character, they'll do a sequel. And instead of doing what something like Taken did, where they did the same movie, these movies will take you to a new location, or they will bring you a new story, and you'll dive deeper into this character. So personally, I think as long as you keep getting innovative ideas that are original, I think this market will probably stay around personally. But Stu, what do you think?
See, what we talked about last week was how like old is cool, and in these genres is directors or writers who probably grew up and watched James Bond movies or westerns or
Die
something
Hard.
like that. Yeah, or Die Hard. And I just see a lot of that. I just feel like they're trying to bring it back, and in some cases it's working, and in other cases it's not. I love to see the western come back. We've had some great like indie western films that have come out over the last few years, and personally, I want to see like those completely come back. I want to see those
like spaghetti kind of.
Yeah, I want to see those
landscape
like dominate. I want to see those dominate Hollywood again. But it's tough because Hollywood right now is all on the franchise building and the big money market franchises. Superheroes is the big thing, obviously, right now, and that's the era of Hollywood it is. And if you try to make something out to be big, you really got to come to the table and play, because like Atomic Blonde kind of came out at the wrong time almost. Like I enjoyed the movie. I didn't hate my experience going to see it, but like I feel like if it wasn't surrounded by apes and Dunkirk and Spider-Man, like I might have enjoyed it better, but there
is it a case of the market being possibly oversaturated, or do you just think it happens to do with when it came out?
See, like, but the genre that Atomic Blonde is, it didn't come out near John Wick 2. Like it did, I don't think that these movies are coming out like too close to each other, but like the franchise builders, Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk isn't part of a franchise, but he's one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. And then Spider-Man is part of the Avengers, and Apes is the third movie in a trilogy. Like it kind of just came out at the wrong time, and by that meaning like by it trying to be its own thing and bring these spy movies and bring like this new era back or bring the old era back of spy movies and everything like that, it tried to go head to head with the superheroes and it didn't win, so I want to see more of these films because I enjoy them and they've been good. John Wick and Jason Bourne and the Kingsman movies. Like I want to see more of them, but it's kind of like it has to be able to battle with the superhero films in order for them to be successful. And I don't think Atomic Blonde's going to be that successful down the road.
Well, Charlize Theron said she's trying to launch a new wave of kind of female empowerment action movies. And I think this is like a good step towards that because one, I'm all for that, but like two, all these spy movies are very like male dominated, so I think it is a good move, but and I like when they're taking original ideas instead of doing like a Ghostbusters remake. You're not doing Die Hard, but with Charlize Theron. I like that they're doing it. They're trying new ways
it was original,
to bring in a new movement.
A thought I had with Charlize Theron's comment, which is a good comment, female empowerment is good. If Captain Marvel is portrayed as well by Brie Larson that Charlize Theron was, like Lorraine, whatever the fuck her name is. But in that Marvel universe, like, it'll be good, it'll be great. So, I'm all for it. But going back to what I said before, like, you kind of have to be able to bring your cards to the table and go up against these huge superhero movies if you want to be successful nowadays. And that's something that Kingsman's done, and that's something that Bourne's done, and that's something that the John Wick movies have done, is they've backed up what they want to be. Ryan, what do you think?
I think it's a bit sensationalist to say that we're seeing a resurgence or it's getting oversaturated, because I think spy movies have always been essential and popular in movies. Like, since we had like North by Northwest, we had the Tom Clancy movies from the 90s. Like, they've always been popular, I think. And like we had the Bourne movies the past 10 years, James Bond, it's always been something people pay to see. And even James Bond's still making money. I just think we're definitely seeing better stunts being done. John Wick kind of ignited that in this movie, done with like a similar director, or a director that worked on it, I should say. No, we're not getting oversaturated. I think we're seeing the usual amounts, but there certainly is a new wave of more emphasis on seeing better stunts. It's been really nicely directed. There hasn't been too much shaky cam. If that's something that's here to stay, I'm welcoming it. I just want to see it more well done than Atomic Blonde in the future. But no, I wouldn't say that we're nearing an oversaturation point at all.
Yeah, I really like that they're doing new and innovative things, because you can tell the same story over and over of this guy wants to get revenge or this guy has to save the day. But when you do something cool like the church scene in Kingsman when Freebird's playing, like that action sequence is phenomenal, or like a lot of them in John Wick. I feel like these movies now have to have almost glamour and style over their stories, because the stories can't get that intricate. They're action movies. They're gonna be what they're gonna be. So I feel like you almost need this great direction and these incredible action sequences to make these movies special. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's gonna reel people in better, because people are going to want to see action a lot more over than just political espionage. So I'm definitely agreeing with that. But I still want to see them handle like complex issues and things like that. I don't want that to totally disappear, but definitely a more of an emphasis on tightly shot action. Perfect. Like I'm in for that for sure.
Since it's current news, and I kind of want to, one last thing I'll maybe bring up. Christopher Nolan's talked about doing a Bond movie. I don't want to see him do a Bond movie as much as I just want to see him do his own spy thriller. Would you guys want to see that from Christopher Nolan?
I wouldn't be against him doing a Bond film. I mean, people probably thought, I mean, well, at the time he wasn't like as big as he is now, but look how he did Batman.
Right.
Like, I mean, Batman was like a 60-year-old character at that point in time. So, like, you know, him taking on the films and being like a serious director and wanted to take that realistic turn with Batman was kind of like a huge deal, considering the last Batman we saw on screen was fucking Clooney. So, you know, like, I'm not concerned too much about him doing a Bond film. If that's what he wanted to do, it'd probably be amazing, and he'd put his Christopher Nolan fucking twist at the end and make it a great movie. But then again, the creative mind he's got, like, he's already kind of done the franchise thing. I mean, he made the Batman trilogy, like, fucking outstanding. Like, so if he keeps cranking out these original ideas, like Interstellar, like Inception, you know, like Memento, like, I'd rather see that almost than the next Bond film out of him.
I guess Memento is almost his take, though, on a spy thriller, maybe, right? On like a kind of almost
more
like
of like
investigative.
an assassin investigative type of thing, you know. But you know, Guy Pearce's character in that is just kind of like a regular guy. Mm-hmm. He's not like working for anybody or anything like that. You know, I guess Memento is kind of like that, but you know, I mean, he's not wearing these like debonair suits and going to do his thing. But then again, you know, maybe like you could call Inception like that. You know,
I also forgot Insomnia. I think Insomnia is kind of a cop drama thing too, although he didn't write that one. But I think these movies are called spy thrillers. They rarely deliver on the thriller aspect of it. It usually just turns into an action movie. I think he can deliver on that so well, and that's what I think. That's where I would love to just see him take one on, because mixed with like Zimmer, who he always works with, I think he could really make a thriller supposed to be tense, and I think he could really deliver on that.
I mean, I always love seeing like the new idea. I mean, Jason Bourne, like, people like way better than James Bond. I mean, I'm one of those people.
Americans.
Well, yeah, Americans do. And you know, John Wick is now getting that type of hype. I mean, he's about to get his third movie. Yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves was born again through John Wick. If Christopher Nolan makes his own like spy thriller film, like, I think that alone, just having Christopher Nolan attached and the way he does characters and the way he does plot and story, like, then he'd make a character that'd like stand up with those guys. Yeah. So that'd be awesome for him.
Yeah. Ryan, anything?
Well, with the last Bond movie, Spectre, they were trying to tie everything together and again do the universe building like every movie does now. And that would not be ideal for Christopher Nolan to helm the next one. I think if I wanted him to do James Bond, he would have to completely wipe the slate clean like he did with Batman and put his own style on it, because it can't be connected to the other stuff and then get a Christopher Nolan thing. I want him to redo Bond completely. Have him get it, like, have him just starting all of that stuff, or having being a seasoned spy, you know, obviously up to him, right? But if he's going to helm that, it needs to be a Bond that's untouched by other people, because that's really when he thrives. That's what he did with Batman, completely fresh. So I don't think he will be, because the studio has in mind of building a universe, and I think creatively probably Christopher Nolan would have a problem with that. But again, I'm not Christopher Nolan or the movie studio, so time will tell. But I wouldn't want him to do it if it were universe connected.
Would you rather him take his own project on?
Everything that he does is like so much more original, and I want him to keep doing that. Yeah.
He's also been campaigning for Hardy to be Bond.
That'd be great.
He himself.
That'd be great.
I mean, I'd rather just see Tom keep working with Christopher Nolan than play James
Well, what
Bond.
if Tom Hardy turns into like that that character,
He
like
could,
that new
he could.
like spy guy
Yeah.
that everybody loves. So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
It's rarely you hear Hardy and Nolan's name and you don't think something would be cool.
yeah.
So, but I think that's probably all we got, right?
Yeah.
That wraps up the episode pretty good. I like that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, and that is this week's podcast. Remember that each and every Monday morning we upload to YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. We're going to have links to those on our Facebook page and Twitter page, which will also be in the description. Any final thoughts?
Nope. Love the listeners. Keep listening. Thanks for listening.
Nothing. Goodbye, guys. See you
All
next
right.
week.
And as always, thank you for listening.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Blue, 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 blue. Yeah, blah, blee, blee, blee.